When the state high school hockey tournament begins next Thursday, 2 Northland area teams will be vying for a state championship. Grand Rapids captured the Section 7 title Thursday night, and today Duluth Denfeld qualified for a trip to St. Paul by defeating Roseville for the Section 2 crown. Roseville came north to defend a championship, and in the first period it looked like they just might. 26 seconds into the game, Scott Marshall puts the Raiders up 1-0. Another goal by Marshall put Roseville up by 2, and it could have been much worse for the Hunters had it not been for junior goalie John Michelizzi, who kicked out 17 first-period shots.
I just wanted to hold those guys in there as long as we could. So we've been hanging tough all year, and I knew we could come back.
The Hunters answered their wake-up call when Brian Nelson scored midway through the second, and about a minute later, Jason Francisco beats Raider goalie Gene Saleh on the wraparound, and just like that, the game was tied at 2-2. Another Scott Marshall goal enabled Roseville to recapture the lead, but Denfeld got a biggie with 1:34 remaining. Tony Burns setters to Francisco, and he relays the puck to Greg Christensen, who ties the game at 3 heading to the third. The Hunters seemed to have Roseville where they wanted them, and at 4:40 of the third, Brett Larson's blast through heavy traffic finds the back of the net to give Denfeld their first lead at 4-3. It was a lead they would not relinquish. On a delayed penalty, Burns lets fly from the left point to make it 5-3 at the 7:51 mark. 2 more quick ones put the Hunters up 7-3, and they went on to win the game 8-4. So for the second time in 3 years, Denfeld nails down a spot in the state tournament.
We're just taking one game at a time. The guys are excited. They're all pumped up. We're just doing the best we can. We're stick together, and we ain't going to change a thing.
Yeah, right now, I wouldn't care if we're playing Edmonton or who, Russians or who. We made it down there, and you know, whatever they do now is frosting on the cake.
The Hunters will face off against #1 ranked and unbeaten Warroad in the opening round of the state tournament next Thursday night.
It's in the air. You could feel it today. The Denfeld Hunters are the epitome of a team that combines hustle, heart, and determination. Today, all their hard work paid off in the Section 2 championship game. The Hunters started slow, but once they got going, they skated past Roseville area and into the state high school hockey tournament. Bill Vukanich's Hunters are known for their slow starts, and today was no exception. Denfeld was down 1-0 in the first. When Roseville's Scott Marshall scores his second goal of the hockey game, the Raiders fired 19 shots on goal in the first and held a 2-0 lead after 1.
And so we were a little nervous first period. I think we a little more testing them, and then we just came out strong.
What Coach Vuk say between the first and second?
You gotta get your butts going, so he told us.
That's exactly what the Hunters did. Brett Larson cut Roseville's lead to 1. Then midway through the second, Jason Francisco found an opening, and the Hunters had the game tied at 2, but Roseville went back on top when Scott Marshall rifles a shot past John Michelizzi, a hat trick for Marshall. Roseville on top 3-2. The Hunters battled back. Watch the fake by sophomore defenseman Tony Burns. Burns sends the puck out front, and Greg Christensen swats it home. It was tied at 3 after 2 periods of play. Brett Larson put the Hunters up by 1 early in the third. Then Burns puts Denfeld up by 2 when he rips a shot past Gene Saleh. It was 5-3 Denfeld at that point. Less than a minute later, they put the game away. Jason Francisco sets up Christensen. The Hunters go up 6-3, and they went on to dump Roseville 8-4. It's Denfeld's second Section 2 championship in the last 3 years. But this year's team has surprised almost everyone as it continues to set new standards for success.
I had faith in this team right from the start, and we peaked in the right time, and we've been feeling good, and we've been sticking together, and yes, I can believe it.
I'm so happy for these boys because they're really a nice bunch of gentlemen, and it couldn't have happened to a nicer bunch of guys. If they would have lost today, it wouldn't have been fair to them.
I was particularly impressed, not necessarily surprised with their stamina and strength. They came to play in the third period and disorganized us, and our game disintegrated. Our position play fell apart, and of course, the rest is history.
Rest is history indeed. The Denfeld Hunters heading to
All we do
state.
is play our game and come out aggressive and stick together. We've done it all year long. It was nothing different, and we knew we were going to come ahead. It's just a matter of time.
All year in the first period, we haven't come out strong. The second period was really good for us. We felt confident coming into the second period. We weren't down because we were behind, and things went our way.
We played Cloquet, and they outshot us in the first period. Gee whiz, next game east, they were down 2-0 again, and they have things rolling. But our boys have a lot of character, and they have a lot of guts, and I tell you what, they stick together, and you know, that's why they call it the Denfeld hockey team.
Denfeld will face top-ranked Warroad in the final opening round game of the state tournament Thursday in St. Paul. Greg Nelson, KDLH Sports.